Welcome to Tête-a-Tech. For those of you joining us for the first time, from day one, our goal at Bay Brazil has been to promote more connections, more interaction, and more dialogue among the tech players of Brazil and Silicon Valley. We started this program a little over a year ago, to promote this dialogue here with you and engage people that are in Brazil and in Silicon Valley. So welcome, thanks for joining us. Today we are welcoming 4 Brazilian founders who were part of the last Y Combinator batch. As most of you know, Y Combinator is the most sought after accelerator program in Silicon Valley. So today we'll hear from these founders, how was their experience, what their companies are about, what kind of problems they are resolving. First of all, tell us where you are sheltering in place right now. Let's start, Maria Fujihara.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Margarise, for the invite. So good to see familiar faces joining the call. I'm based in San Francisco. I've been living here for the past 3.5 years. So this is where I live. And we are near Bay Brazil headquarters, which is in San Jose. And yeah, that's it.
Great. Alex.
Hey guys, I'm Alex from Alude. I'm in São José dos Campos, which is the countryside near São Paulo, where I was raised.
Great. Cirdes.
Hey, thank you so much for inviting me. It's good to see my fellow batchmates. And right now I am in São Paulo. My company is based here.
Great. Rafael.
Hi, we are pretty excited to join you guys today here, talking with so nice friends that I did in the previous this batch, and to join you guys in Brazil. I'm in São Paulo right now, in the city that is the headquarters of Start Bank.
Great. So because of sheltering in place, I understand that some of you had to leave San Francisco in a rush. Tell us about that moment, because you had just finished the demo day at Y Combinator, and then the sheltering in place kicked off all over the Bay Area. The flights were restricted. Tell us about that moment, Cirdes.
Okay, so in my case, the plan was to stay in Bay Area until mid of April, and we are starting to prepare to demo day, and I had a ticket from American Airlines. And suddenly, I read a news that American Airlines will stop to have flights through Brazil. So we got afraid to be locked down in Bay Area. So we decided to come back to Brazil in the same day. So it was a little bit crazy, you know. We had to grab our stuff and come back to Brazil quickly, and that was it for us.
Wow. How about you, Rafael?
Well, I think this coronavirus stuff is a surprise for everyone. No one was expecting. And for us, we were supposed to stay in the United States until the end of March. So I stayed until the end of March. My flight was canceled. So it was pretty complicated to be able to buy another one, because it was so few flights and all the flights was canceling. And the experience to meet people online is like a bit different than what we were expecting to meet some investors in person. But yeah, we make it work anyway.
Good, good. How about you, Alex? Did you have trouble with that?
Yeah, we had a very hard time actually. We were like doing fine, staying in this little house in San Mateo. We decided to stay for a little longer, even though the pandemic, just to be able to do like be on the same time zone and make it easier. But then the city ran out of toilet paper. And I'm like, no, this is enough for me. So we decided to come back, and we bought the first flight canceled, second flight canceled, third flight canceled. We're like, shit, we're going to be here forever spending in dollar with such a terrible currency. But thankfully, we were able to get back on our fourth flight and been in peace ever since in our amazing Brazil.
Good. So I'm glad that everybody's safe and got back home to get back to your homes and companies. So now let's start learn about your companies. Maria, founder and CEO of SINAI Technologies. Tell us about which problem you are solving, Maria.
Yeah, sure. I just want to comment really briefly. I didn't have to leave back to Brazil. I got stuck here where I live, but I'm originally from São Paulo. But I just want to comment that actually YC had to move forward the demo day. So it was supposed to happen a week later, and we have to adapt. Many people had to adapt, not only the international founders, everybody had to change their entire fundraising process and strategy to adapt to every single thing that, you know, we were getting news like all the time, things were changing. You know, we used to have like founders dinners every week, and then they got canceled, and then suddenly everything moved to online. Demo day was pushed forward 1 week. So we all had to adapt. It was not only international founders that had to leave the country.
Yeah, that's
really
true.
fast.
And I think it was the first time that the demo day was online one, right?
Yeah, we were supposed to actually record videos, and then they canceled the videos. Then it was like, let's just launch this company so they have time to actually finish fundraising. So it was great. I think YC did what they could do in terms of adapting to circumstances. But I think everybody's trying to adapt right now, right? Everybody is, you know, have to kind of go back, re-strategize in terms of fundraising, in terms of product development, hiring, selling, marketing. So I think it's a great time for everybody to reorganize their strategies. So, but I think YC did a great work. I don't know if you guys think the same as me, but I think
we can't blame them, but it was way worse than it would have been without. But like, there's no one to blame, so we just got to figure it out and deal with it, right?
Yeah, totally. Okay, so regards what we do, we do carbon price. We are an enterprise carbon pricing software. So basically, we attach a financial benchmark into environmental impact of big corporations. We are not reinventing the wheel. We are just basically automating the way that companies price carbon emissions. So Microsoft has been pricing carbon since 2012, while Disney, Ben & Jerry's, that are over 1,400 companies pricing carbon emissions today. And, you know, there are lots of regulations and government standards being in place right now through carbon taxes or emissions trading systems. But for the past 5 years, corporations have been internalizing these concepts much faster. And we just automated this process. We created a software for them to run calculations and understand exactly how much does it cost for them to reduce emissions, including, you know, analyzing carbon taxes or any kind of other environmental tax, and the direct cost, CAPEX, OPEX. So we are a fintech in the environmental space.
So so you mentioned that there are right now 14 companies doing working on that space. 1,400 company, right? How exactly do you differentiate SINAI technologies, Maria?
Yeah, so basically this is done today by consulting firms. So they have to do this manually, or sustainability teams inside corporations run these calculations manually through spreadsheets. And, you know, if companies really want to transition to a low carbon economy and comply with regulations and achieve their, you know, emissions reductions targets, for example, they need to first get out of offline and put them online, and also be able to bridge the gap between operational data and financial data, And I see sustainability teams doing this inside corporations moving forward. So the vision is empowering sustainability teams so they can bridge this gap between everything that happens on the ground and the vision, the strategy of the company in transition to a low carbon economy. And be able to do this in a much more collaborative way. So you are able to connect different departments and make better decisions that are bringing returns on investments at the same time that reduce emissions. So yeah, these are the...
And Maria, and how is your client acquisition strategy? Because since not every company is aware of its contribution to climate change, how do you approach them?
Good question. So we are kind of creating a new market category. We do have to, establish the market because online sustainability teams, it's not, unusual stuff that everybody does. Like there are so many tools for finance, for marketing, for sales, for any kind of different teams, but not for sustainability teams. And the tools that are available out there are mostly focusing on developing a carbon footprint, which is the first step, or compensating through carbon credits, which is the last step. But there are many things in the middle that needs to do, which helps them to establish a holistic carbon strategy. So this is what we do. We help them to integrate all this information from the first step into the last step. But instead of starting off with the edges, we started off with the meat that it's yet done by consultants. So we do have to teach them in terms of how to establish a carbon price and what are, the main economic benefits of establishing a carbon price, an internal carbon price. But they are also very well educated. There are many companies that are leading this, such as Amazon, Microsoft. We have today 2 big customers. We are closing our 3rd customer right now. Our first customer is a huge steel manufacturer in the world. It's called ArcelorMittal. I don't know if you heard of them. They are in Belo Horizonte, actually, their headquarters in Arcelor, Brazil. And the second customer is Brookfield. They are Canadian asset managers and owners, and they own wastewater utility plants in Brazil. And so we are just helping them to roll out this strategy internally, to collect the data and to find who are exactly these teams, to allocate the teams. But we are building everything from scratch, from the go-to-market strategy, the marketing approach, the creating the new market category, the narrative, and also how we are going to be onboarding these teams and so forth. But I hope I had.
And how big is the team right now, Maria?
We are 10 people. We are hiring 2 others. So we just finished fundraising. We actually, I was glad because I follow my intuition, and I did what every single partner of YC told us not to, which is fundraise before demo day. I actually did it. So we were able to close our fundraise a week after demo day. We raised a good round. I cannot yet disclose how much. We're going to be publicly talking about it soon. But
investors from this region or from Brazil or elsewhere?
I think there's only 2 Brazilian investors, and they invested really small. It was very small investment. Everybody else is in here in Silicon Valley.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we are very excited. We are hiring for 3 positions right now: marketing, software developer, and product development. So yeah, if you guys know anyone, send them.
We'll go over the positions that all of you are hiring for right now. Thank you, Maria. We'll bring you back soon to the discussion. But let's hear now from Cirdes Henrique, founder of Linkana, compliance-driven procurement software. Cirdes, give us a sense of what Linkana is and which problem you are solving.
Okay, so mainly we are fighting against bureaucracy in Brazil. We realized that it's very hard to do business in Brazil. So that is our main goal. So we built that compliance-driven procurement platform. That means that when our client wants to hire another company, there is a lot of risk involved in that relations. It could be labor risk, legal risk, sustainability risk. So in order to reduce that risk, you have to ask for a lot of documents, to check on government websites, to look for restriction lists, to see, for example, if someone is related to a politician. And it's a lot of manual work to do that properly. So usually companies don't do that well, or they will hire a consultant to do that. And what we are trying to do is make all that process simple. So we say that we make we turn simple to make business between companies.
Give us an example, Cirdes, of a client that Linkana is helping right now, and how the software is helping them to mitigate risks.
Okay, so we decided to start with enterprise companies. So we have BASF as our client, Nivea, Porto Seguro is our client and investor. And basically, for example, Nivea, every supplier that they want to hire, someone from the purchase department will send invites to Linkana, to that company, and that company will have to give us some documents like social contracts, some basic documents, and Linkana will start to look for every document regarding to tax in federal, state, and city level, and we are gonna check everything and create a score. And based on that score, we can say, oh, you are good to go. You can start to do business with that company, and we are okay. And after that, we start to monitoring them. So because our process, the whole process was automated, we can monitor them for the entire relation. So it's not about when you hired someone, it's during all relations you are in risk. For example, we have Privalia as a customer, and we know that in textile industry, it's a problem when someone enters in a slave labor list, and it's a huge problem. And you need to be monitoring your suppliers to prevent that to happen. You know, when you detect that something is wrong, you can take that suppliers out of your base. So that's what we are doing.
And how big is the team right now, Cirdes?
We are 7 people.
I'm sorry?
7.
7 people. And are you fundraising? Yeah,
we are. Actually, I think I am the only technical founder here. I am the CTO, not the CEO. But yeah, we are fundraising. We start the fundraising week before the demo day, and we didn't finish our fundraising process. Like Maria said, things are getting slower. Funds are trying to, everyone actually are trying to understand what we're gonna be for the market, for the economy, for everything. So we are talking with funds. We already got some angels, and we are talking with some funds to lead the investments, but we are in the middle of the process right now.
Got it. All right. Alex Dubugras, founder of Alude. Tell us about Alude, Alex.
Hey guys, so essentially Alude makes it very easy for Brazilians to be able to rent a place. If you have rented a place in Brazil, you know it's a very awful process, that there's a lot of lack of communication. You're dealing with like traditional real estate brokers, and they're very slow. So what Alude does is that we build software for traditional real estate brokers to be able to offer their customers a 100% online experience. And so like essentially how it works is that the real estate broker wants to say like, I want to move here. He sends you a link, you upload all your documents, you run a background check and all the boring part of the process, you sign everything online. And rather than taking 30 days for you to be able to rent a place, it takes only 1. And the way we do that is like not very hard in terms of technology. We just automate the whole process, integrate a bunch of parts. And we are able to offer it for free to the real estate brokers, and because we monetize by selling insurance to their customers. So whenever you're renting, you need to buy home insurance or renter's guarantee insurance, seguro fiança for those in Portuguese. And we are the insurance broker in direct transactions. So we believe that by doing that, we can have all of the brokers in Brazil using our technology to make it one's life much easier, and so that people don't hate brokers anymore, and we can help them become better service providers.
Can you give us an example of a client you are helping right now?
Yeah, for sure. So right now we're working mostly with the long tail. So one of our customers is a guy called Dennis, which is like, he works by himself. He doesn't have like a team or anything. He just like finds customers. And he really loves the tool just because he doesn't need to keep doing all the bureaucracy himself anymore, just because we automate everything. So mostly we're like, no names. We're doing mostly the long tail so far.
And how big is the team?
Right now we're 7 people, so it's me, my 2 co-founders, Aleph and Jota, and we have 4 more people.
Okay, great. All right, Rafael Stark, founder and CEO of Stark Bank. Tell us about Stark Bank, Rafael.
Sure. Well, Stark Bank, we are building a B2B bank for tech companies in Brazil. We started with payments. We launched the first API bank in Brazil. And by the way, today we were listed as the #1 open banking in the entire country. So basically by providing this banking API for tech companies, we had the opportunity to have the entire country connect to our API to do all their bank operations. So we have clients such as Rappi, Boozer, Covey, Ingressi, Rebel, and plus 200 companies working with us.
Yeah, I heard you work with the Rappi. Tell us how are you helping them?
Well, basically, as Rappi is an amazing company and grows fast, even fast now with coronavirus. They need to do a lot of payments for restaurants. So when you buy something in Rappi app, later they need to pay the drivers and the restaurants. So we help them in the part of pay the restaurants. They have a really high number of wire transfers that they need to handle. Before us, they used incumbent bank, so it was pretty complex the process and required a lot of manual operations. That took around 3 days to do their payments. With us using our APIs, like 10 minutes and everything's gone, and we make really easy reconciliations for them.
And how about Buzzer? Buzzer is a transportation company, right? And I understand you helped them to scale payments. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, Buzzer is really interesting case that basically, well, when you curate a startup such as Buzzer, and we are doing, everyone wants to scale. But sometimes when you don't have some process that you think before, when you scale, you have issues that make it complicated for you to scale. So Buzzer, and one of the most things that most of companies that make success have a problem is payments and banking operations, because they need to do a lot of operations. So basically, Buzzer think this from scratch. Oh, we need to have a process to pay everyone, drivers, or give refunds or whatever they need to pay, that with one client or 100,000 clients or 1 million clients will be the same process. So they would be able to scale without worry about nothing in any part of this process. So think on that. They use our API to do everything: payroll, to pay drivers, to give refund to their customers, to pay providers, and like they forget about finance. Now they can focus on more core business and solve another scale issues.
And how big is the team right now, Rafael?
We are 20 geeks in Stark Bank.
And are you fundraising?
Yes, we started fundraising at Demo Day. We have some people really interesting joining us. We have the Foundation Capital joining us. partners of SoftBank as individuals.
Yes.
We have like CTO of Covey, CEO of B2, and another YC alumni joining us.
Great, congratulations. Well, I have few other questions, but I do want to bring our audience's questions. One of them comes from Googler Miguel Feldens, who is in the call. Is about inspiration. I had that question, what inspired you to create your business? But Miguel put it much better than me. What is the single most valuable you are taking from the YC program? Why did you decide to focus your talent and passion on the particular problem your company is trying to address? Why don't we start with Maria? Oh, Alex wants to start. Go ahead, Alex.
I can start. All right. I think about this a lot. So initially, when we first applied to YC, it was mostly because of the brand, just because we wanted to have access to the outside investors that had like a lot of things. And they usually don't invest directly in Brazilian companies. And then if you're an American fund, you don't understand Brazil really well. So you're probably just going to invest in a Brazilian fund that understands Brazil. But once you get into Y Combinator, you get access to these funds, which is something really good. Initially, that's why the reason why we went there. But after we joined the program and after doing it, we were 100% overblown by how good it is. Like after doing the whole thing, we're way better entrepreneurs. It's very hard to explain why. It's just like they have like these basic advice, like launch fast, talk to your users, which are kind of obvious, but people don't do it properly. We didn't do it properly. Now, because we do it, it's way better. And the most important thing, like the most amazing thing is the partners, especially Dalton, which was our partner, just because like these guys, like we have very good investors, like the founders of Brex, the founders of White Life and Gympass. And all these guys, like they're really good and really smart and they give really good advice, but they're so far ahead that they don't even remember the beginnings. While the partners at YC, they're seeing like 150 companies fail every year. So they have the best advice for this moment of the company. So every meeting that we have, it's like mind blowing. That's the main thing. And that's why I love YC so much.
And how did you change your model after this experience, Alex?
You mean more like business or like entrepreneurial?
How did you define your business? What is the component that you added, or something that you haven't thought about specifically about your business after this experience?
So I'll say that for us, we had like a very good idea of where we were going to start and where we would be like in a couple years from now, but we had not a good idea where we would be like 10 years from now. And the partners in YC, they're very good at helping you with that, like seeing like how the business is going to turn out in the many next years and how to get there and the initial steps. I'll say that's the main thing.
Great. Okay, Maria, share us what inspired you to create your business and how was the experience with YC?
Yeah, so I've actually been working in sustainability for almost 15 years now. I've had a career in Brazil. I work for, I came actually from the sustainable construction industry. And I helped establish a market over there around sustainable construction certifications, and then internalize that. And then I came to the US to take a break, but I realized actually that I needed to bring technology to this space because it's such a space that needed disruption. And if you look at it, like I said, it's one of the last pieces of a corporation that actually has any kind of technological tool to that matter. So I came to Silicon Valley kind of accidentally. I got into a program before YC from Singularity University. I don't know if you heard of it before. It's here in the Bay Area as well. They are in Mountain View, actually right next to, super close to where YC headquarters is. And I was in this program in 2017, and the program is about, how to use exponential technologies to solve climate change. And I was there for 4 months and a half. I got a scholarship from Google. They paid us $50,000 to do that. We were 90 people from 47 countries. It was very, very international, just like YC. And it was mind-blowing for me. It was the first time that I realized that I wanted to be in tech and that I wanted to be in tech and sustainability. And I started SINAI right after. That was December 2017. It's been a roller coaster ever since. I imagine for any founder, it's a roller coaster. But I don't see myself doing any other thing that whatever I'm doing right now. It's really what I love and what I will be doing for the next 10, 20, how many years in a row.
Great.
Yeah, so I think I've been living in the Bay Area ever since, and I think this, you know, I'm in contact with all these accelerators here. There's so many. YC is one of them. I see Plug and Play. It's on the. I think Steve just went to Plug and Play, right? Somebody. Anyway, there's so many others and so many options. It's such a different environment from, you know, building a company in Brazil. I imagine that Brazil has so many innovative minds, and I think it's amazing to see, you know, Brazilian people innovating. But it's such a hard environment. Guys, congratulations. I don't think I could ever build a company in Brazil like that, because being here is so different, right? So here it's like you have everything, you have all the support. So if I talk to my neighbor, they know about stock options. You know, we can discuss about investments. I'm meeting investors all the time whenever I go for a coffee or if I go walk in the park. You know, you're talking to you see billionaires walking around. You know, all the time. People are talking about tech all the time, and you know, it's such a different environment. I feel like I'm very lucky to be here and to get, you know, this information right up in front. But I choose this specifically to apply to IC and not any other. Not only because it's the best one, but also because it was the hardest one, and I would say. Because of the network, I think they are connected with so many different levels of the, you know, of the levels of building a company. If you have such a thing, I feel like, okay, somebody's ringing my bell. Sorry, I'm in my house, so sorry for any background noise. Yeah, I feel like they are in throughout this process of, you know, creating a company. They have networks in every single part of this process. So for hiring, for fundraising, for connecting with other founders. So the network is amazing. And I heard this so much from previous founders, and now I know what it means. And I think only being a YC founder, you know, you can really know what it means. These guys definitely knows also as well. And I think it was really, really valuable because of the things that Alex mentioned. These guys see companies being created and failing all the time. And I think they are always trying to push you to do the things that matter. And I really like the main topic, the main quote that we had to do was do things that don't scale right now. And doing things that don't scale mean talk to your customers, be there, right there, and figure it out, you know, your product market fit, how you're going to go to market, and all these details that take a lot of time, a lot of effort, and that nobody really tells you, right? Whenever you're building a company, everybody's thinking you have to scale, you have to get customers, but how you do that? And you know, you have to do that by doing things that don't scale first. So I think it was a learning process for me because I mean, like others like Cirdes and Rafael, you guys already have customers. So I also already have customers that I need to support and keep building for that. And I was always thinking of how to scale the customer base. But I think YC for me was like, okay, stop whatever you're doing, rethink if this process makes sense or not, do things that don't scale first until you can, you know, really start growing, you know, until you raise your Series A and really start growth mode. But I think, yeah, this is kind of the process we're going through right now.
Got it. Cirdes, how was for you? What inspired you to found Linkana? And what is the most valued asset that you took from the YC program?
Okay, so I decided to found Linkana after my last startup. I had a startup called Eventiki, and it was acquired by Simpla 3 years ago. And after that, we start to, you know, I spent a time in Simpla, and then I realized that I want to do another company, to start over again, to, you know, learn with my mistakes from my first company and do something and do another thing again. So we start. It took more than a year to figure out what to do, you know, and by talking with people, trying to understand problems that they had, we reached the Linkana problem, and it really inspired us to, you know, trying to we like to see that we are trying to restore trust between companies, and that's something that really inspired us. And trying to fight bureaucracy is another thing. So those are the things that keep us going and trying to make Linkana a huge company, because we believe that it can impact the Brazil, the Latin America. So about YC, maybe I've been part of Plug and Play, and when I was there, I met Margarise and Brazil, I think 7 years ago, a long time ago. And in Brazil, I went through AC, I went through Oxygenio, so I went through a lot of sorts of programs, but I think YC was a little bit different. First, I started on Startup School. It's a online program from YC, and we went through the whole program. And in the end, we got the grant, and that was awesome. And it helped us to, you know, to validate our hypothesis. And then we got accepted into YC, and everyone said about how YC is good in give you the right advice for your moment, because if you are product market fit, you should worry about something. If you are in growth stage, it's another completely different game. So they know how to give you the right advice. And Dalton was my partner, and he's an awesome guy as well, and I learned a lot. But one of the missing points is because you are surrounded by a lot of smart people. You can see Alexandre, Stark, Maria, they are awesome, and we learn a lot with each other during the batch, you know, and that is it's a really important thing from YC, you know, the network effect. You have chat on WhatsApp, you have a forum that we can share ideas and learn with our batch mates, and that is one of the most important things that I got from YC. And what changed
just adding to that, if I may, like one thing that was bizarre for us on that regard of the network is that, like, because of demo day being online, like, you know, you didn't get so many likes as you would have, because people wouldn't see all the companies. So especially LatAm, like, it was way worse. And everybody keeps saying, like, oh no, the YC network is really powerful. It's really powerful. Like, whatever, those people. But then, like, I started asking random people that I've never met, like, hey, can you introduce me to the investor that invested in you? And, like, my whole fundraising process was basically talking to people that I've never met and getting introduced to people that I really wanted to meet. So YC network is absurdly powerful. I'm really overwhelmed by that as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, I don't know. I feel that I have a strong bond with those guys, you know, because we spent that time there in YC. And what I learned from YC is because last year we acquired a lot of huge clients, and we are doing really well. And when we enter the YC batch, our mind was, oh, we need to scale. We need to hire a bunch of people and put a lot of money in marketing. And they said to us, no, take it easy. You go slow. And that was a really good advice, because now with that crisis, you know, we have a lot of money in the bank. So if you had hired a lot of people, spend a lot of money, we got in trouble, you know.
And Cirdes, I'm curious, so you mentioned the first time you spend time here in Silicon Valley. I think most people don't know, but we had a partnership at that time with Plug and Play Tech Center, and we asked them to host at no charge 2 Brazilian startups. And then Fernando Gouveia, our friend that was at Plug and Play at that time, he went to São Paulo, watched your pitches at Eventic at that time, and chose Eventic as one of the companies. So, but I'm wondering, how do you think your previous experience has changed and made you a better leader?
Okay. First, about that thing you mentioned, the being part of the Plug and Play program was a game changer for us. Back then, we were in Recife, and we got accepted into Plug and Play, and we moved for the Bay Area, for Sunnyvale, and that was mind blowing. We learned a lot, and when we went back to Recife, we thought, man, we should go to São Paulo, because we don't have that much startup. We don't have another companies to learn with them. So we decided to move to São Paulo, and then Eventic succeed. And I do believe that Eventic succeed because of that period in Bay Area, you know. And going to your question, I think it's two things change. I think the Brazil has changed because now, back then, imagine 9 years ago, if you are talking about startups in Brazil, you are no one knows what's that, you know. It's a strange thing, and you know, nowadays everyone knows what is a startup, and every huge company in Brazil are doing innovation programs, you know. So it's much easier to get close to them, and it's easier to fundraising here. It's everything is completely different. It's easier now than it was 10 years ago. And by myself, I learned a lot of things, you know, during the ACE program in São Paulo. They went through the basics, you know, how to marketing, how to sell, how to do everything. Because after I finished my college, I started my first startup. So I never had any other experience, you know. So basically, it was very important. I had time to learn how to do things, how to become a leader, a developer, a leader, everything. So doing that for the second time, it's much more easier, because you already know. It's like I said, after my first startup, I just want a chance to not make the same mistakes, you know, to make another mistakes that I'm been making right now. But at least I learned a lot, you know, doing mistakes in the past one.
Good, Cirdes. It's good to cross paths with you again. Rafael, tell us your take on that. What is the most precious learning from the experience, and what inspired you to create Stark Bank?
Well, first, I'm a technical founder, so I'm a developer. I like to code and create software technology. So one thing that motivated me to create Stark Bank was because I was use it to connect to other APIs, for example, Twilio API, Google API, or Stripe API, to do a bunch of other things. But one day in Brazil, one client, before I had Stark Bank, I had another company, Hummingbird. So one customer at Hummingbird requests us to make wire transfers, and I think, okay, I will connect to a wire transfer API, because I got used to connect to API, so connect to a wire transfer API and solve this problem, right, fast. But I discovered that banks have a really old technology. It's pretty hard to connect, require a lot of manual operations, and every single company in the Brazil do manual operations to the banking operations in a large amount, you know? So this makes me, oh, why? Why people just create an API to solve this problem? Why not, you know? So, and then I started thinking and research market. So I decided to do it by myself because like no one could solve this problem. So I will try to solve this problem because this was my problem. And I just created a wire transfer API, and later we launched more products. And now at Start Bank, we stand for entrepreneurs that, like us, wants to change Brazil for better using technology. So we are empowering them with a lot of banking technology to scale their financial operations. So they be able to focus more on their core business and no more manual operations in nothing in this process. No, so it's pretty excited that we can help another founders, and they give us good feedbacks. They like so much our product that some founders join our cap table. No, it's pretty like unique. Have people that you're helping and they give you feedbacks, and you're close to them. You know, you go for like travel and do stuff together. Clients, you know, it's pretty like exciting moment.
And Rafael, one thing that Maria was mentioning, and is part of Gabriela Toribio from CSN question, what are the main challenges to keep growing in the Brazilian environment? I think Maria mentioned about that. I mean, I would love to hear your insights on that.
Well, Brazil is a hard market for sure. It's a unique market. It's almost designed to make money if you're born here and live here. It's complicated for foreign people to understand Brazil, and that rules change. You know, you need to adapt yourself. But well, Brazil is also pretty unique because we need to build everything here, right? In the United States, as Maria told us later, you have like people understand everything. People have tools. People have the right mindset. People have like a bunch of startups that do a lot of things, you know? In Brazil, we have nothing. So you need to create everything. So it's the country of the opportunity, and it's a huge market. So, and also a hard market because Brazilians are really traditional. So for us, one thing that was pretty complicated in the beginning, now it's become easier, but was pretty complicated, is build trust, right? Because as you create a bank or a B2B bank, people need to trust on you, they put your money in you. So you say, oh, stop using the biggest B2B bank in Brazil and stop passing 100 million a year or 1 billion a year with them and passing with us, right? So it's pretty complex things to say to someone and make someone trust in you in this process.
Credibility building.
Sorry?
Credibility building, right?
Yes. So one thing that YC told that I totally agree, that we were doing before YC, but after their feedback, we were doing more and more, right? Instead of go to try to expand your base and have as much a client as you can, like just focus on have 100 clients that loves you. Create a product that people loves you, you know, create cases one by one and make you one customer pretty happy about you. And this customer is starting to say good things on the market about you. And then you make another customers that try to make him love you. And again, they start this process. So we are basically be able to build trust with companies because we are growing by word of mouth. One client give us a try. It's hard, but when they give us a try, we impress them a lot, you know, and we bloom their mind. They love so much that they starting like and give feedback, and we change fast, and then they start loving us and recommend us to another customers. So we basically find our way to win in Brazil is like this: partner with our clients and be a partner, not a provider. you know.
I would love to hear Alex on that. What are the challenges of keep growing in the Brazilian market, Alex?
Overall, I think I have a different opinion. I think like Brazil is pretty good for you to be an entrepreneur, just because like there's so many problems that you can do, and like even though there is less supply, there's also less competition as well for investments. So like recently, there's been a lot of capital in Brazil. So if you are able to like play the fundraising game, I'd say that I don't think it's that bad. What's the rest of the question? Sorry.
Well, I think you just answered. but I do have
just because. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna add that like in the regard like just because there's not that many like very good entrepreneurs here in Brazil, like you can have access to really amazing people by even if you're not like that successful, which is what happened to us, for example. Like we're able to have like really good people helping us and taking meetings with us, even though like we're still a very small company. So like I feel like if you find a way to play the Brazilian game, it's easier than if you're going to do the West, just because of all the less competition.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So I wanna have do a merge here between two questions from our audience. Which market segment will be positively impacted by this pandemic moment? That is Plinio Targa from Brain for Care, and also another Googler asked us, I would love to hear your thoughts on how COVID affects your market and business continuity. Any pivot in your strategy right now? So two questions together that brings us right into this moment facing the COVID pandemic. Why don't we start, Maria?
All right. Yeah. So we definitely had to change the mainly our OKRs and our goals for Q2 and the end of the year. The market is impacted because many new contracts are frozen. So our customers that are initially in Brazil. So I'm in here, but I do have many connections coming from my previous life there. So our initial customers are in Brazil. We are closing our third customer and first American customer in the US soon. But we are having to do some rearrangements in terms of pricing and how we're going to be charging them. And, if there are other possibilities on giving a free trial or a free pilot and something like this, because they cannot really hire any new thing. But they are still interested in implementing. So so we would love to get their feedback at least. And mostly,
so you're not doing free trials prior to the pandemic situation.
No, exactly. But now we are open for this kind of arrangement, and we are exactly discussing with our current pipeline prospects how we're going to be supporting them. And there's a lot of interest. And in terms of strategy, definitely most of the strategy right now is focused on not closing deals, but mostly moving deals under the funnel. So creating this new market category is for us investing a lot on marketing. So for us, it's different than any other company that is cutting costs on marketing. We are actually increasing. We're going to be defining the narrative around what we are building. So once the market warms up back again, we are able to sell. So we are basically continuing the conversation, moving forward, customers in the funnel. So we are able to sell and get back revenue once the market warms it up. But that's basically the strategy right now.
Rafael, you want to comment on that?
Sure. Well, at Start Bank, we have seen some customers decreasing their numbers because of their operations in COVID is pretty tough. It's pretty hard. And also we see another customers increase a lot their numbers because of COVID, especially food delivery or online companies increase a lot. And we also noticed that during this COVID stuff, increases a lot the number of companies that want to integrate with our API, mainly because like companies understand more better right now that they need to be more digital and create more automatic process, not depend on people in their operations. So this increased a lot the request to open accounts with us and help with integrations.
How about you, Cirdes? How are you? Any pivot in your strategy because of the situation right now?
Okay, so for our current clients, they are using us like before, you know, maybe even more right now, because we are doing a core process for every corporation that needs to hire companies besides everything else, you know. They are large companies, so they are still using us the same way. But talking about sales funnel, things are getting slow because I think companies are not want to, you know, change something so important to them, like the process to hire another companies right now in the middle of the COVID.
I'm gonna have to connect you with my current customers. They have horrible homologação processes. Seriously.
Great. Good news. Good news.
Excellent. That's what we want. Like it.
Yeah. So our sales funnel are not doing that great right now. All companies are cancel meetings and say, hey, let's wait for see what's gonna happen. But our current clients, we didn't lost any client, and everything's going well for the current clients.
Good. Alex.
Yeah, so for us, like we serve like these real estate brokers, which normally they would have like some resistance to technology, but because of the pandemic and everything, they are having no option right now, so they have to do things remotely. So it's been good for us on that side, but it's been really bad for us on the regard that, well, no sales or no rentals happening, so like they're not making any money. So it's been like kind of tough, but it's the first time ever that you're gonna have like SMBs actually looking for cutting costs or getting better efficiency, just like Rafael said. Because usually they're just like, oh, more customers, and now like people are actually looking to cut costs, and that's also something that we help with. So like we feel like in the long term it's probably going to be good, and we're going to make it to the long term just because we have a lot of cash, but it's going to be bad because a lot of people are going to suffer a lot along the way.
Good. So I want to bring 2 more questions. I can't believe we are getting to the end of our chat. We have to do this again, but I do want to fit in a couple more questions. Danilo Gaspar from Vitalicia asks, as a health tech on ideation, I want to know, what do we need to do in order to be accepted by Y Combinator? Do we need to have traction or product market fit? Has the selection criteria, do you think it will change the criteria after the COVID crisis? So any hints for Danilo?
Margarise, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna have to. I have to leave. I have another call, another meeting right now.
Totally fine, Maria. But last thoughts.
Well, yeah, no, I think this is great. I hope to keep this conversation moving forward. I think it's really this bridge that you guys propose between Brazil and Bay Area is amazing. I you know, if whenever you want to use our headquarters to do events, please count on us. And I hope this continues. It's wonderful to see everybody here. Thank you so much. Good to see you guys. Cirdes, let's connect as soon as this.
See you. Okay.
Obrigada, Maria.
Obrigada a vocês. Tchau,
Bom,
tchau.
Maria.
Valeu.
Ciao.
Tchau.
Margarita, if you want, I can start with the question.
Yes, Alex, go ahead. Any hints for Danilo?
Yeah, for sure. So there's basically like 2 steps. It's just that you do the online application, and afterwards there's the interview. For the online application, like what they're looking for is pretty much to look at your background and what you've done before and the way you think about the business. They don't care that much if the business is good or not, if it's like a huge market, all that kind of stuff that usually VCs care. They just want to see how much you thought about it. So they want to see like how clear is your thinking about it, how like you're able to express all the information. That's the main thing that they have to be worrying about. And then like for the interview, like me and my co-founder Jota, we hate feedback for this because everybody gives like complete opposite feedback about it. And I'll say what I think, like it's a 10-minute interview that's crazy, and all you can do is pretty much like there. If you guys want, you can ask me. I have like all the questions that they usually ask. We've looked all over the internet to prepare for them. Just really prepare for all the questions. Like they like really short answers. So if they say, well, what are you building? So you got to answer everything like sort of like between 10 and 15 seconds, just so you don't like start talking and saying nothing. And that's pretty much like the only advice that I'll give. Just prepare and like give decently short answers that respond exactly what they ask.
Cirdes.
Yeah, about that, I think it's a good moment to Brazilian companies to apply to YC, because we just had the largest Brazilian YC batch ever. You know, we had 7 companies in the batch, and that was very unique. I think they are looking with a special care for Brazil. Last year, they went to São Paulo and held an event there, and they was planning to come to have interview here in São Paulo for the next batch, but it was canceled because of COVID. But I do believe that they are looking for Brazil different right now. You know, they are looking to get more Brazilian companies on boarded. And about the process, I think one of the important things to me was to did the startup school program. You know, I learned a lot with the way that Y Combinator wants to do things right. They want to see progress. It doesn't matter if you have just an idea or if you have a company doing really well with lots of revenue. It doesn't matter for them. But you should do things faster. You should launch as soon as possible. You should talk with your users. You should learn day by day. So they are trying to see those things during the interviews and the application. So I think do the startup school it's a good tip. And for the interview, I read a lot of things on the internet, and everyone, like Alexandre said, it's different. But what I did was get prepared for questions. I wrote down a lot of questions and answers and practice with friends, and asked for others YC companies to do mock interview with us, and that helped me to become more confident during the interview.
Thank you, Cirdes. Rafael.
Well, I think to join YC is basically two steps. One is the online application, that basically you need to be pretty clear about what you're doing, because YC participants will read a lot of applications. So they have really a bullshit reader. So that doesn't write about like random stuff, be directed to the point about what you're doing. So it's also good that you show that what you're doing can be a $1 billion company, of course, and be straight to that and about the opportunity you want to pursue it. You can be launched or not, whatever, they will accept you anyway. And they also want to, in the online application, see that you do something unique, you know, because they say that founders of $1 billion companies is extraordinary people. So they want to show you that you are extraordinary. So when you think about this, it's not about like study at Harvard and have like medals in Olympics. It's not about that. Like you can do really small things that is really extraordinary, such as, oh, I studied and I worked and I help my family with the bills, you know, like it's amazing that you did this. Most of the people doesn't do these small things, you know. So it's pretty important that you show that you are kind of special because you did something that most of people doesn't, and that you have this idea that can be a really huge business. So this is for online process. And then for the interview, basically is with four or five founders. As Alex said, it doesn't help me like training for short answers, you know, because I was expecting people asking me a lot of questions, and I need to reply every one of these questions in 20 seconds. But at least in my case, this is not happened. Like for the interview, the most important thing is the 30 seconds. You'll be pretty clear about what you want to do, because after that they will ask you about this. So if they doesn't understand you, they will question to try to understand. So you will lost a lot of time of your interview trying to explain what you want to do. So do this in the 30 seconds. And then one advice is try to think about 3 points that you want them to remember about you. I don't know what's the 3 point for each case, but in my case that I have attraction. In my case, we have Rappi as a customers, and we had a go-to-market similar to Brax. So every reply I give, I try to put one of those 3 points. So to they keep their those points in mind. So everyone has a different point. So, but in my interview, I noticed people that try to understand me, not like just with random questions, a lot of questions. No, wasn't my case. Was people that really want to understand what I was doing. So they ask things to try to understand this, you know.
Great. Well, and my final question, or maybe it's a final comment that I would love to have from you. What is your message to other young entrepreneurs that are in Brazil and struggling right now with this crisis, this pandemic? What is your message, and how you are, or how you are giving back to the entrepreneurial community of Brazil and other regions, the US and so on. Why don't you start, Alex? Very briefly, a final comment.
Yeah, sure, guys. If you're thinking about applying to Y Combinator, do it. Like, it's worth it. Like, you're going to take 7% of your company, whatever. Like, it makes up in the end. If you need any help with the application, if you need tips, you want me like to do a mock interview, I'd be super open to that. And let me know if I can ever help. And, you know, like, one of the things that you do at YC that you really learned is that everyone that succeeded had to hustle a lot. Like, everyone had their downtimes, and you just got to keep going, keep doing it, and they'll find a way eventually.
Thank you, Alex. Cirdes.
The same. If anyone wants to help, you can contact me, and I will be glad to help. And one important thing that YC tells to us is talk with your users. So if you are struggling, go talk with your users, and that's the most important thing. And I think I think that's it. Yeah.
Thank you, Cirdes. Rafael.
Well, of course, if you guys need to help with YC application, I will glad also to help. Just contact me. And as a final quote, I would like to say something that Ayrton Senna, the driver, the F1 driver, once said that I really like his quote, is in adversity, some people give up and other people breaks records. So we're living in adversity. So think on how your business can grow a lot on this, because this adversity is opportunity. You show to the market that you're an amazing founder, that your company is amazing, and of course you can keep growing in this situation. So just think, help more to your customers, and build a best product that people loves.
Can I take a thing? Okay, you go, Cirdes.
No, I just want to say that if you didn't get accepted, try again. We tried 3 times to get accepted. So keep pushing.
Keep pushing. Alex.
I was just gonna say, like, just complement to what Cirdes said. That the main thing is, like, if you don't know what to do, we'll talk to your users. Like, for you to talk to your users, you gotta have users. So launch fast. It's the other YC principle that we love the most. Just whatever. Like, if think about how can you launch your product tomorrow and like start talking to your users to figure out everything you're gonna do. That's definitely the thing that changed the most for us, like, of the YC advice. Sweet.
Well, thank you so much. This was fun. Much success to you, and hope to see you back here to the Valley soon.
Sweet, thanks. Have a good
one. Obrigada.
So
and
much.
For those who join us from home, from your offices, thank you. Our next chat is next week. We will be featuring Hans Tang, an investor from GGV Capital, and Andy Sau, Managing Director of Silicon Valley Bank. We'll see you then. Obrigada. Tchau.